It's an awful time. It's an awful, awful time. But when I look back on it now, it was a fabulous time. The day we got the diagnosis, we drove home to Orange very quietly, each of us churning over our own thoughts. As we were approaching Orange, Sonya said, "You know, this is a bit serious. I think we better go and see the palliative care people out at the hospital." And the very next day we rang up and made an appointment, went out to see the palliative care people, who are the kindest people on this earth as far as I'm concerned. And they walked us through the likely scenarios and what we should be looking for and who's who, what's what drugs Sonya would be looking at. It was probably the most difficult conversation ever to start. But the instant it started, it just flowed. And we were both wary of each other's feelings. Obviously, you don't want to lose your wife, husband, soulmate. And this was sort of getting into that area of, how long have we got to go, which everyone asks. Once it started to flow, it was so easy. And once we saw the palliative care people, it was even easier again. The advanced care plan was very important because it allowed you to tick the boxes. I don't want to be resuscitated here, there, and as you've seen on the advanced care directives, they're quite specific these days, but so helpful in order that she knew what she was facing, I knew what she was facing, and we could discuss it with the family so that there was no dysfunction, there was no drama, despite the fact that we were losing her. It was managed. Every now and then, Sonya would go into respiratory failure. That was scary. I had all her medical history typed out, her advanced care plan, directive, all the paperwork ready to give to the AMBOs as soon as they walked in the door. And that's another thing. If the AMBOs and the GPs have all that information, you can sometimes work your way through those panicky moments, and respiratory failure is not pretty. Because of her diagnosis and because we thought she might have 9 months, 12 months, she went 18 months, which is great, it concentrated a lot of our thoughts and actions. I guess in many ways it was cathartic for me to be involved. Just to be a part of it was very important. We were together 24/7 and we'd shout at each other and yell at each other, but we got over it instantly. For example, some girlfriends of hers came up to Orange 2 weeks before she died. They said, "Oh, let's go down the street." And I thought, oh no, they've never used a wheelchair in their life. If she tips out of the wheelchair, she'll break bones and all sorts of things. But she wanted to go. So it was very important for me to lift her into the car and say to the girls, "Look after her." And it all went well. It was very good for Sonya and her psyche to be able to do those sorts of things, even a fortnight before she died. It's damned hard work, but it's very rewarding too. It's as I say, it was cathartic for me to be able to help her. And I don't think anyone else would have been able to do the same thing despite the best efforts. But it's so important. Flesh it all out, talk to your rellies, talk to your siblings. It avoids so much family dysfunction after the death. It's the most difficult conversation you'll probably ever start, but it's probably one of the most valuable conversations that you'll ever have.